To show you solo GM with a Prismatic Hunter build. We don't want to neglect hunters too much, so here's a hunter video. Surges are Arc Surge, Strand Surge, Void Threat, Champions of Barrier and Unstoppable. Okay, if you're a hunter main that struggles in PvE to try and solo GMs, then this is probably your go-to build, because it's going to be best for newer players because it adds more damage resist. So this exotic enhance is Ascension, so you get a wider radius of ascension, you get more jolt because of the bounce and explosives, and you get more damage resist. More damage resist means that you will not go to orbit. Not going to orbit will save you time in the long run. It's honestly really good. Now, I try to avoid using it because what I will say is, if a hunter uses this every day of his working life, you will end up becoming lazy and you will lose skill in the end. Don't abuse this exotic too much. Use it here and there, but just remember, it's so much better than anything else on a hunter, broadly speaking, for damage resist. And for newer players, spam it. For intermediate to advanced players, I want you to use other things like Radiant Dance Machines, Frosties, all the hunter builds I've showed you this season. If you already know Gifted Conviction, why would you keep spamming it over and over? I don't use it much, but when I do, I understand that, it makes the game easier, basically. So, we're using the exotic fusion rifle Merciless. Impetus is a 50% damage bonus, which stacks with conserve momentum, stacks up to 15 times, increases charge rate, and also adds a little bit of damage. Catalyst adds stats to the weapon. Merciless is a very good weapon in the game, and it always has been. It's been a good weapon since 2017, when it dropped in vanilla. Boss killing weapon, amazing on bosses, amazing on champs, etc. Now, hunters are going to instantly flock to these two exotics with the build, and I'm saying you probably shouldn't do it. Sealed Crowd Grasps says powered melee and finisher fire blows. It's very strict. What this perk should read is powered melee hits, but it doesn't. What I'm saying is they should buff this exotic because it's far too niche. The damage bonus is nice, but it's too niche. You're just adding complexities to your build when you don't need to. Let me run you through it. When I'm dealing with a champ, I've got to throw a grenade, throw a smoke bomb for Radiant, use an Ascension, make a clone, make sure I've got barrier rounds in Merciless, then melt with Merciless, even have to maybe get a melee, even have to get an enhanced kill clip kill, and then start DPSing a champ. Are you seriously going to add an extra layer to that with a finisher kill? This is unnecessary damage. The damage that you have with Merciless on this build is more than enough. You don't need to add more damage to it. You are just essentially wasting an exotic slot if you use this in GMs. However, in dungeons and raids, it's not a waste because there's a lot more room for setup with that. Million and add just before a boss DPS phase, that's within question for dungeon bosses, definitely. But in a GM environment, it doesn't really matter. It matters more about your playback loop. We've got all the damage in the world anyways with particle reconstruction. If you add more damage resist to your build, you will do more damage naturally because you can play more aggressive. If you don't have damage resist on, say you do use Sealed Crowd Grasps and you get weak, you might need to back up for 5 seconds. That's 5 seconds lost damage. So whilst this exotic will give you boosts of DPS throughout a GM, over the course of the full GM, you will actually do less damage with it because you have to hide more. Get it? Don't have to hide as much with Ascension, with Gifted Conviction. I can push far more aggressive, therefore it's more damage in the end, even though the number's lower. You need to understand that it's not just about a number, it's about the playback loop of what you are doing within a run. Alright? Number 2 culprit, Foe Tracer. A lot of hunters try to cop out with me and say, oh, you use Masker backwards with a lot of wolves. Oh, you done this. Why don't you just use Foe Tracer? It seems to be a lot of hunter mains just rely on Foe Tracer and just say, just use Foe Tracer. I'm going to tell you why Foe Tracer is, whilst very good, it's not good for solo. Here's why it's not very good. Fortresser requires Beelcraft, and don't forget it. You need to match an ability to the weapon damage to get the buff. If you don't have any ability damage matching the weapon, then it's no good, it's a waste. Merciless is a solar weapon. Fortresser is very good on anything else other than solar. It's because Prismatic has bad solar in its kit. Let's review it. Number 1, Knife Trick. It's a poor melee. It's the worst melee option on Prismatic Hunter. Number 2, Swarm Grenade. It's the worst grenade option on Hunter. And finally, Gunpowder Gamble. Whilst Gunpowder Gamble's pretty good, in my opinion, it's a waste of an aspect slot because you've got to pick 2, right? So what, you're going to take a clone off and put Gunpowder's Gamble on? No way, man. Clone's way more effective than that. Way more effective. So what I'm saying is, that's also unnecessary. To run Gunpowder Gamble, to run the excuse to run Fortresser, is the wrong play and not to be done. Don't get me wrong, Fortresser on certain strand, Fortresser with Barrow Dyad on a strand sort of setup on Prismatic, that's nice. There's all sorts of different ways to do it. What I'm saying is, solar builds with Fortresser on Prismatic Hunter are no good because of the reasons I've stated. Therefore, we default back to damage resist exotic. Weapons was Buzzard for Peace and Sidearm. Merciless will get Radiant. In order to do that, you need to take Unstoppable Fusion out, so that when you are Radiant, you can stun barrier champions. It's incredible that way, you can melt all the barriers. And we've got Watchful Eye on with Power Resolve if we need to stun Unstoppable champions as well. Here's the artifact mods. Maligned Harvest plays a big part in this. Particle Reconstruction as well. So I'm using Silk Strike. Gambler's Dodge because I want to get my Snare Bomb back. Yeah, really important for this. Just Fill Grenade. Aspects are Clone, Ascension, because they work hand in hand. I prefer this over Invis. Let's let the hunters out of their invisibility jail. I've got the key for you. The key's Invis as well. So no wonder they can't get out of the jail. They're in an Invis jail trying to find an Invis key. They can't find it. I've had it in my back pocket. I'll let you out. Look at that. I've let you out. Clone, Ascension, Clone, Ascension. Fragments, Facet of Ruin, Facet of Protection, Facet of Hope, Facet of Dawn for barrier rounds, Facet of Balance, Facet of Purpose for Woven Mail, because we can stack resistance with Facet of Protection, Woven Mail, Ascension Amplified, with Gifted Conviction. So that's everything. Here's armor mods. There'll be a dim link anyways, but that was the build. Okay, so with the run, so let's establish in this run how well Merciless does with the Ascension setup and the amount of damage that I do. So I'm going to kill the initial champs. You can skip them, but again, I'm making a video. I see no point in skipping these champs unless I was doing a speed run. Then yes, but we're not speed running. Okay, so I'm going to kill these initial 2 adds. The barrier champ will teleport anyways, so it makes no odds. And let's see the damage rotation. So Smoke Bomb is going to give me the overshield. Dust Field's going to slow. Ascension's going to jolt. I have barrier rounds in Merciless. So let's see the damage. Look, the charge rate speeds up. Then we'll work on the second barrier. That was a melt, by the way. We got Radiant. Check. Check the tooltip at the bottom. You'll see that I've got Radiant. We melt that champ very quickly. Yeah, and then we just... This is a champ dealing weapon, a build. Much like what Lord of Wolves is with Mask of Bacchus, this is the same fashion really. Maybe not quite as strong as Lord of Wolves even after nerf in terms of like as a GM weapon. Lord of Wolves is still maybe slightly better, but Merciless is fantastic with Particle, it really is. Okay, so I've got Amplified, I've got Speed Booster, so I'm going to keep running. I can't stop. If I stop, I'll lose Speed Booster. I'll use a super here, and we're going to grapple our way across. Yeah, that's the best thing to do. It saves time on the run. You don't need to clear these adds. You just need to kill the barrier champ. That is all you need to do. Then we're going to super these adds in the cave. Your super's a throwaway ability on this bit at this stage, so that's well worth to do it. Because look at the advantage you've gained. You can then just Smoke Bomb, nade. You get Radiant and then just melt the barrier. Look at that. Try and get finisher kills, but you will struggle because Merciless just melts quicker than you think at times. But yeah, try and get finishes here and there for Dreadful Finisher so that you recuperate the ammo you've lost. This weapon can rip through its ammo very quickly, which isn't a bad thing, I think. That's just the nature of the weapon. Maybe it could do with a reserve buff. Maybe 22, 23. But it's that powerful, I think it's fine. I use an Ascension before the ads come out. This stops the ads from pushing me. They're locked behind for some reason. I guess because they were looking at the clone and they were sort of locked behind that Vex gate. But yeah, just a little tip. Unstoppable spawning. I'm going to smoke plus nade to get the stun. Then we melt with the fusion look. Look at the conserve momentum. Now, I know I didn't get the kill clip, but you tell me where I could have got the kill clip kill there. You know, by the time I do a kill clip kill, the champs are dead anyways, right? So I will do kill clip with Merciless here and there, but it won't be every single rotation because it ends up being unnecessary, because by the time you do a kill clip rotation, if there's 20 ads around you and there's a champ, sometimes it's not feasible to do that, but sometimes it absolutely is feasible to do it. So I will sprinkle that kill clip perk in here and there, but because of particle it melts anyways regardless. When we get to the boss it's more important to do that actually. So, we shoot the boss at the back of the map. This spawns in the Unstoppable early. We make a clone behind me to distract the ads. Then I'm going to get a Dust Fill down, then Super. When the champ freezes, we shatter him with the Super. That stuns the Unstop. Then I'm just going to use my Super and then make some clones, get rid of any Banes, like this. Okay, now I'm going to pop a Transcendence because I may as well, and there's still plenty of ads up. My smoke bomb bounces off the shield. I'm a fraction too quick, so I'll use Buzzard instead to get that shield break. Then I'll whip out Merciless. Then we'll just use the back end of my Transcendence to clear up these ads. We've got a Relic on the floor, of course. We're running this relatively quick, by the way. We are pushing in this run. I'm not sitting back at all. Okay, just get rid of these snipers. Ammo's full on LMG. I'm full almost on Merciless, so I'm doing pretty good for ammo. Pay close attention to a Transcendence energy because I've just used it. I would like it again for the next phase. It speeds up the next phase. So what I'm going to do here is start focusing a bit more on Buzzard, because Buzzard's got KT, it's got Kinetic Tremors. Kinetic weapons give both light and dark, naturally. But Kinetic Tremors gives enhanced Transcendence energy. This is why Buzzard is the best primary sidearm in the kinetic slot. Not including rocket sidearms. I said primary sidearm. And it is. It's unbelievably good. I mean, look, I've got my Transcendence. Yeah, I've just about got it. I would have got it if I'd done a bit more damage, but I'm just about there. Yeah, by the time I start this next engagement, I'll have it. So I've got amplified speed booster. I've kept it, look. This allows me to spawn kill the champs. It's a small detail, but it's important. What I'm going to do is Smoke Bomb for Radiant, Ascension for Jolt. That gives me, I've got barrier rounds, look. We melt the barrier champ. The barrier is the priority, not the unstop. Then I can focus the unstop. I'm going to use a super, but I'm going to prematurely cancel the super because I don't need it. Pick up the relic that spawns in the next champ. Then I'll pop Transcendence, look. Transcendence goes in. The barrier champ slightly runs away, but I've made a clone. There's a clone behind me, so I'm really safe. And I've got an overshield. So this looks threatening, but it's not because of everything that's going on. Overshield, damage risk from Ascendance, and I've made a clone. The ads will focus my clone. Look, I can just kill the champs like you do on a Consecration Titan. Same thing. Although it hasn't got the same ability damage as Consecration Titan. No, of course it hasn't. Nothing has. But what I'm saying is the playback loop of only focus ads while there's 10 million red bars up. You can do that on this build. just like you can on some other Prismatic builds. You know, look, I mean, it's not complicated, right? You know, with the old Prismatic build crafting, I don't think it is, not now. It maybe did seem that way at the start of Foul Shape, but, you know, after time, I think you should be used to this stuff. New players, you know, they take a bit more, of course, because they're new. So they're gonna be. I haven't got special ammo to melt this champ, so I'm going to get a finisher kill here. And I've got some special on the floor. And look, I've got my super back. I've got Transcendence back. Really good for that. Just get rid of these gladiators. We're stun locking them with the barrier round sidearms I was mentioning yesterday. Same thing. Just get rid of this gladiator quickly. I was hoping to get my nade, but it's alright, it doesn't matter. I just need Ascension and plus my smoke for Radiant. I didn't reload my Merciless. That was a slight problem. That's alright though. There we go, we get the kill. So now we melt, look at the damage difference. So yeah, at times when try and do it, try and get the kill clip on Merciless, but when you do, it really does melt quick. I've kept speed boost the same thing. I'll use an Ascension if I need to. We'll just skip these ads. We're 8 minutes in. That's probably about 2 minutes behind a consecration time, maybe 3 minutes. I'm trying to think my times on my consecration time runs in the past. I think when I'm running to the caves, I get here for about 6 minutes. So it's about 3 minutes behind. But, like I say, as far as a hunter build goes, there's Bastion as well. I've already showcased Bastion though. There's no point in me redoing Bastion, I've already showed it. Yeah, whereas Merciless I have showed Merciless gameplay in the past, but it's been a long time since I have. So I thought it was a good time to show it off now. Using Ascension past the goblins. There's a Drain Bane, luckily they die there, so that's fine. Okay, so we're going to get on the plate right away. ADS. If you ADS a plate, you cap the plate quicker. Don't know why, but you do. Yeah, like I don't even have to kill many ads and the plate's capped. Basically, you can cap this plate without killing any enemies actually. But yeah, ADS and for some reason delays the spawn. Look, you can see it. Okay, we're going to start LMGing some of the ads. The dogs as well, because the dogs get in the way for DPS. We want to get these ads away so I can do a bit of damage to the boss. Get rid of the ads. Now I'll see what I will do. I'm going to come over here because you can get damage. You can get better damage over here. So use a smoke and a dust field and an ascension with a clone. Then I'll use my transcendence first, I think. Right, so we're going to then do the merciless damage, which we get knocked back a little bit, but that's fine. Doing some good chunk damage there, that's nice. Ads start to come out though, so I'm going to have to... I'll be better using a super here, so that's what I'm about to do. I spammed all my merciless ammo there. That was without the kill clip. So that's still crazy good damage, that. Then we use our super, and remember you can make unlimited clones. Well, you can make plenty of clones in your super. You don't lose the cooldown. Now we just need to get rid of the boss. I'm looking to get transcendence back. Look, I get my transcendence, which is really good for that. This build is. I'm going to pop it now just to get rid of the boss. Maligned Harvest saving us with the overshields. I'm low on special, so I'm going to focus a little bit more of ammo from my other weapons. Boss is sendable to half HP when we get on a plate. I'll clap mid plate first, just because it's the easiest. Still got transcendence up. I've got a super to burn if I need to, but I should cap this plate before the gladiators and dogs come out. There we go. Just about capping the plate. There we go. Plate is capped. Using Ascension Clone because ads are pushing me. That's what's so good. Getting that enhanced damage resist that it gives. Now I'm going to do a bit more Transcendence Energy. I'll pop a super though as well, because it's Silk Strike and it's dark, so it'll give me my darkness meter look. And it allows you to cap the plates. Roman supers are really good inside terminus because you can cap a plate with them. That's why they're so good. Okay, I've got Transcendence, so now I can repeat the loop. It's Super Transcendence, Super Transcendence. And making clones. It distracts the enemies as well, massively. So that's even more damage resist in my eyes. Even though a clone doesn't give damage resist by a number, in my eyes it does. Because 5 seconds of ads not focused on you means that you regenerate your health. So, embrace clone tech. I don't know why hunters won't. I mean, I'm not a hunter main. You know, I've said I don't main hunter, titan or warlock. But I definitely play hunter the least. But even I can see, yeah, the most powerful tech on the hunter right now is clone. For PvE. In terms of deception against ads. Making a decoy. Think about Onslaught. Think about how good the decoys were in Onslaught when it came out. Well, you've got that on tap right now. With a hunter. With Ascension plus clone. I don't understand why people aren't using this more than what they are. But I need a Transcendence. So I've got darkness, I just need light. So the machine gun can do that quickly. Because it's adding jolt as well for even more Transcendence. Okay, I've got my Transcendence. I'm just going to go and loop around the map. Pop my Transcendence. I'll get the overshield off the smoke like I said. I'm going to try and get a reload kill here. I do. There we go, got the enhanced kill clip. So we should be chunking here. We are chunking, but we get pushed. So I need to stop DPS. That's what I'm saying about this. You can overcommit to damage. If I was using Amkara Grass, I would have died there. Because I would not have had enhanced damage resist. This Phalanx is eating my damage. That was unfortunate. That's alright. I use a super here. With Ascension. So I can jolt, add damage to Silk Strike. Then I'll do another Ascension at the back end of super. Look at my Transcendence. I've got it back just about. There we go, we get it back. So I can go back into middle and repeat the process of this aggressive play style. I wish I'd had a little bit more special at this end, but that wasn't half bad. Yeah, we just keep spamming our nades, keep getting overshields, keep getting good damage resist. But yeah, that was a solid GM with this Merciless loadout. I hope you enjoy, thank you.